everybody. Welcome to K&D's Homestead. I'm Donna. Today is another day that I need to do some cleanup work in my chicken coop. And one problem that I've had is we've had rain for a solid week. And their run out here has been nothing but just a big old pure muddy mess. And one of the things that I'm doing is, which I do it regular, it was time, it was needed, is I buy hay from a farmer who lives just down the road from us, and I spread hay in their run. That helps with the mud. It keeps things dry. Oh, I'm sweating so bad. It keeps things dry in the run, which I wasn't able to get out here because of the rain. But the hay will keep things dry, and they seem to do better whenever their feet are not wet. Plus, it helps to keep the eggs cleaner when they mess around, because they don't even go in when it rains. They just stand out in the rain or play in it, walk in it, lay in it, and they drag all that mud into the nest boxes. So keeping their run dry and clean also keeps the nest boxes clean. It helps a little bit. So that's one of the things that I'm doing out here. The second thing that I'm doing, and I'll show you in just a minute, I'm putting plants inside the chicken run. All of them are rehabs, or for one reason or another just weren't doing good in their locations. The heat has been extreme, the sun has been blistering, and they have suffered. So I thought I would bring them into the chicken run. I looked all of them up to make sure that they were not toxic. So everything I've brought in here is non-toxic. But I'm thinking it might be a win-win anyways, even though I'm doing it to rehab them, because in the chicken run for most of the day it is shaded. They get some sun from the afternoon. It comes from that direction and comes over, but it's not in, it's late afternoon heat and sun, so it's not super intense. So the plants will get some sun, but they're in the shade, and they have daylight of course, but they are shaded a little bit. And I think that it's going to help the plants. But also, if the plants do well and they themselves provide shade, then that's a win for the chickens, because they will have some shade. The pen I'm in right now is just my the run for my hens. I do have 2 roosters in here, but I've got 20 hens in this one run. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 other chicken runs that I'll get to one at a time. This is where the concentration of my egg layers are at, so I'm going to do this one first. The heat has been pretty extreme for these birds. They're all, panting, they're hot. I've been coming out trying to refill a pool. They have 2 buckets of water, but I'm also filling a pool a couple of times a day of fresh water. Some of them will stand in it, cool their feet off, and some will just drink from it. But with all of this extreme heat, I'm doing as much as I can to provide them with a little relief from all of it. I'm hoping these plants will do well in here. This is one location of very few that's not extreme heat during the day. Let me turn this around. So here are the plants that I have brought in here. I've got some purple basil, which these were not rehabs. They just need to be potted up. I'm going to pot these up into something bigger, but they are vigorous growers, and the 2, I may bring more because I've got a lot more in my around the outside of my greenhouse, and I may bring them out here as well and just bunch them together. But they normally every year, these are just offsprings from last year's big one, but my purple basil every year grows to about between 5 and 6 feet and just gets about 3 feet wide. And the basil is safe for the chickens. They may even munch on some of the lower limbs, and that'll be okay because you just can't kill this stuff. So I'm gonna pot these up into something bigger out here. I brought my poor little banana tree. It's supposed to love full sun, but it did not. I had to cut a lot off of this tree that was just pure dead, and you can see I've got some really bad leaves, but I didn't want to cut too much off at once. I'll wait till some new ones come on and I'll cut these bad ones off. But this thing has been suffering bad in this heat out here. I brought in a shepherd's hook and brought in a spider plant that wasn't doing well. That too is safe for them. It was one layer longer this morning, and they've already jumped up and snatched some of the babies off and ate those, which that's okay too. They're not going to get but so high on it, and there's plenty to go around. And I've probably got 15 of these things hanging around in various locations in the yard, and I need to move all of them and get them into where they get some shade during the day. This box right here I'm going to fill up with some soil and plant some safe items in here for them that, you know, will grow up and create a shade. I brought in a pot of marigold, and this is loofah that I forgot about and never planted. I don't know how well it'll do. It's kind of late in the season, but I've got it up against this fence with rooster on the other side. But if it grows down the fence line, that's fine. If it doesn't make it, then it wasn't going to make it where I had it, because I had it in the greenhouse in a corner and completely forgot about it. So that's a rehab. The marigolds are a rehab because they were drying out real bad. I'm not done putting the hay down, but they are in happy heaven, chicken heaven, tooling around in the hay. They love to scratch around in hay that's just been thrown down. So eventually, hopefully, they will have a little bit of shade from all these plants that I'm putting in here. And if they choose to eat and nibble on some of them, that'll be okay because it's good for them. I have some chocolate mint, some peppermint. These boys just have to sound off. Some chocolate mint, peppermint, some sage. I've got some herbs that are in my front garden, and I'm probably going to move some of them back here because herbs are really good for chickens. And over here in this section, guys, come on. This section here that leads into their house, I'm going to put something in here just for them to snack on, but it's covered by tarp, and so I'm not needing to create shade in here. And then this is I call this a room, but it's not. It's just another open section to their chicken run. This part is all out in the open, so I am probably gonna put some plants out here as well. As you can see, they're all clustered back here under this makeshift thing that I built years ago. I showed part of this or some of it on the last video I did with the chickens, but that's their favorite place to stay. I guess it's hot in there to me, but I guess it's cool to them. But they like to go in there. So their The hen's chicken run is a pretty large section. It's 3 sections. It was divided here, and I just pulled the fence back and opened it up so that I could give them all more room, because at one time this area was just roosters, but I've since moved them so they have all of this space right here. But it has been a muddy mess, and every time I come in here during this past week, I've slipped several times and about busted my behind just in the slick mud. So we have clear skies today. Finally, mostly, I mean, there's some clouds, but I don't think that they're calling for rain. And so this seemed like a good day to get out and do this. The only time I think about it is when I'm looking at the mud and sliding in it. But I generally keep their ground covered. But one thing or another, you know, has happened and kept me from getting out here and taking care of it before we had all of the rain. And then, of course, all the rain. I'm not going to get out here and do it then. But I still have hay that I've got to spread, and I'm going to work on that today. These little girls are just happy as they can be messing around. They love kicking around that hay. I can put it down, look so nice and neat, and actually be pretty out here, and 5 minutes later, this is what we have, where they kick through it, dig. I mean, that's just the natural thing for them to do. They love doing it, and I'm not going to try to stop them. They have a good time fishing around and hunting in the dirt for something. They have depleted it of everything, though. There's not a bug to be found unless you count the yellow flies that are in here. But I love looking at them when they're so happy and just kicking around. Those over there just hanging out. They've dug them a little hole in the ground in there, and they're laying in it to cool off. So anyways, I'm going to get back to laying all this hay down and cleaning up this area. I don't know if I said it in the beginning of the video, but this hay helps tremendously in keeping down the smell. You know, chicken runs, chicken houses, coops, they can really smell at times with so many birds and them pooping everywhere, and chicken stuff just don't smell good. But if you can keep something on the ground like this, it helps a lot. It keeps the smell down. Just about everybody that comes to my house and visits the chickens, they usually comment, not that it smells good, but they usually comment, wow, this don't smell like I thought a chicken run or a chicken yard should. And that's because I put down hay for them. And the hay, it degrades rapidly. It doesn't stay. I probably have to do it, I don't know, every month or two, once or twice in a 2-month period. I don't put it down super heavy, but I put it down just thick enough that when we get a rain, they're not walking in mud puddles. And it's not so thick that they can't, kick and rustle through it, because that's what they like to do. But this really does help, and it improves the ground as well, because it degrades and just becomes part of the soil, and so it's like giving back to the soil. So anyways, I'm gonna get to it, and I will show the end result when I'm done. Well, I finally finished all that I'm going to do today. The heat's just too much, and the gnats are too bad. I can't hardly breathe for them trying to go down my throat. but I got a lot accomplished and I think it looks pretty good. Let me turn it around. So this is my full chicken run from down there. There are 7 divisions in this run, but what I did was just the hens and 1 rooster. This rooster, I did his yard. This is Coco. He's over there. Hey, Coco. Can you see him down in that hole? He dug a hole beside a old stump. And look at them. They're all just lazying, laying around, trying to cool it. There's one little girl over here. She got her a hole. There's a handful here. They're trying to keep cool the best they can. So anyways, I got all of the hay spread that I was intending to do. Got them some fresh water, minerals in their water. And they're just chilling. Girl, look at that white one right there. She has got so much dirt on her. These 2 roosters here. Their favorite pastime is picking on each other. So I'm going to conclude this because it's so daggone stinking nasty hot. I can't hardly stand it out here anymore. I've had about all the fun I can handle in one day. So I'm going to go in and cool, give me something nice to drink, and put my feet up maybe. But anyways, I just wanted to share, I just wanted to share what their run looks like. I got a lot more flowers I intend to put in here as soon as I can determine what I have that is not going to be toxic to them. And I think that these may rehab pretty good being in the shade. They get sun, but they'll be in the shade and they can just kind of de-escalate. I think that they are all stressed out really bad. Okay, well, if you hung with me for this, thank you for that. I hope you liked this video, and I hope that you will stick around for more, and I hope you will subscribe and hang out with me in the future. I hope every one of you have a wonderful day, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.